What's going on, everyone? This is a special episode of What Do You Know with Joe. I have my great friend, colleague, actor, JD Starnes. JD, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, brother? Long time no see, my friend.
I know it's been a minute. We'll get together here soon. Yeah, so we're doing this is something new we're trying. I don't know if it'll keep going, but it's something fun to try. Keep this show lively. We're gonna do a movie review, similar to, if everyone who's listened to the episodes, we do drafts, we talk about movies. This is one we're going to talk about essentially, partially because it's somewhat around Halloween. We wanted to, do something spooky. There's this new movie out called Bitchass where it's not funny at all. There's no comedy aspect to it, but it's a kind of a flashback horror film. So we're going to talk about some of the things we liked, maybe some things we thought might have been a little bit better, and just our overall thoughts on it. But JD, before we get into it, things are going good. Things are good.
Yeah, things are great, man. Super busy. You know how it is.
Busy's good. Thugging it. I like that. Yeah, just a grind out here in the suburbs of DC for sure. So real jumping into it, what's one thing you liked about Bitchass?
Well, first I wanted to open with when you said, "Hey, man," you were like, "You want to review Bitchass?" And I was like, "What's up, dude? I got your review right here, man. Like my quarterly review. What do you want?"
Basically, JD's like, "So Joe's calling me a bitch ass, and now I guess we have to fight."
Cool. And you want me on your show? Oh, that's
so great. Yeah, now we're gonna box.
Yeah, exactly. And then so there's an iconic line in this movie that's like, "Who's the bitch ass now?" And like I don't watch a whole lot of gore or scary movies, so I'm like, me, I'm the bitch. I go in there and like there's like crazy slaughterings, and I'm like like Kawhi Leonard laugh, bro. And and yeah, I'm not a big gore fan, bro. So I'm like sitting there uncomfortable, but yeah, overall it was a wild ride. It was a fun movie to watch for sure. It was fun.
I would say so. I really like, I'm a fan of films of like, some people aren't, but I like when they like, do flashbacks and like not necessarily do flashbacks, but like when you can put pieces together from, characters' times like throughout their life within a story. And I thought they did a pretty okay with, job with that. I thought they definitely built characters pretty well. And I definitely want to get your take on, some of the actors and actresses in it for sure. Did you have anyone that stood out maybe, or
honestly, the main villain, because like obviously Bitchass is supposed to be the villain, but there's like a deeper plot, as you know.
Right.
Spade was he really convinced me as like a solid bad guy.
Yep.
Also, did you ever see the movie Dope?
I haven't yet, but I know it's really good. I need to see it. It's like a star-studded film.
Yeah, the kid who played Q, I think that was Tion, right?
Yeah.
He reminded me of the main guy in Dope, and I was just like very like drawn to that character a lot.
Yeah,
which is cool.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a good analysis.
Yeah, this movie was very much like a scary Home Alone. Have you ever played like Mousetrap? It was like anytime anybody entered the home, there was just like new sets of games. Like there's Connect 4, I believe. There's like Jenga, different types of like traps to like really fuck some people up.
And like that got me, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pick up Scrabble again or like any other.
Right? Yeah. It's like next time I play Jenga, I'm like washing my fingers, bro. Like like
not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was I wouldn't want to be. First of all, the message of it all is like, don't bully the big kid, because he may just set up an entire house to slaughter all you and your friends with.
He's gonna take his grandpa's house and just totally mess it up.
Right. I mean, like, bro, what happened to this man? Like, I'd be going after everybody too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this girl, the girl that he liked, like led him into destruction when he was a young kid, and that's just like on from there. And I totally, I'd be the same way.
I agree. I think her name is Melissa Sellers, Marsha. She did a good job. And I think you had mentioned it. Tion, even though it's such a, like you said, such a dark, like gory type of film, there's a lot of darkness in that movie. I do appreciate that it was Tion character's Q. He did a good job of like,
he was like the pinnacle of light.
Yeah, right. He's giving a little bit of light, like he's giving it a little like positivity, because like you kind of need that sprinkled in a horror film like that, especially when there's a lot of gore. You're just like, man, thank you for at least doing that. That was one aspect I was like, thankfully, like,
oh, for sure. But there's one part that I did not understand, and
let me hear it.
It's like at the end, like when it's all said and done, there's a horrific part where he has to play rock paper scissors, like
Mm-hmm.
towards the end.
Yep.
And like fast forward like a year or two, a few years later, he's like with his mom, and she had
Yeah.
seen this whole ordeal go down.
Right.
And I forgot what they were discussing over, but she was like, want to play rock paper scissors over it, and they were like, it was like an inside joke. I was like, this should be traumatizing, bro. Like, I would not be wanting to play rock paper scissors ever again. You even
Oh,
mentioned
yeah.
rock
Yeah.
or
No.
paper or scissors in a sentence, I'd be like,
Right.
that's
No, exactly. Like we can't be like again, like we said, we're not going to be childhood games are out the door. You know, if I'm having a family down the road, we're not. You know, we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe go to jungle gyms. But we're not. We're definitely staying away of like Connect Four and all the and like again,
right.
if anyone's like, you want a Rochambeau? No, I don't. I'm good.
Hey, get out of my house.
No one. I thought also like the with Tony Todd, like Titus in the beginning, that was interesting how they set it all up. You know, not a lot of
I didn't
movies.
know he was the voice of the voiceover for Candyman. That was like,
Yeah. Right.
wow,
Candyman, like so he's been in like he was in why am I blanking? He was in like one of the Final Destination movies. That man's been in a lot of different stuff. Like that, and I think that's one of the things that was like appealing to me for this movie is like, you know, you have a lot of young up and coming actors and actresses, but then, you know, for a guy like Tony Todd to come in, like that was pretty cool.
oh, you got an OG in there.
I know, right? And so like, and honestly, I mean, like from like a or you know, from a notoriety standpoint, I mean, I did see, you know, after watching it, I was like, okay, like, you know, or even before too, I was like, I want to do my homework a little bit. I mean, it was going to some festivals and like I think it was like South by Southwest, and that's pretty impressive in itself.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that like is pretty, you know, that's a pretty well known kind of festival for, you know, films to kind of, you know, get some shine on and see. So I think I would love to meet someone who was there as well. I mean, sure, people write reviews and things like that, but I'd love to meet like just an average Joe who was there and be like, let me get your take on it as well.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. I liked there's a study on how like the villain goes through there's like an innocence that still connects into their childhood. And that's the one piece of purity that they hold on to. And there's a study on like different films like Inglourious Bastards, for example, or like Clockwork Orange, where the villain drinks milk and it's like a symbol of like white purity, like whatever.
Interesting.
That ties them back to childhood. And for that, like the symbolism for that in this movie was this guy's love for board games and playing games.
Right.
And he's playing Human Battleship at one point. It's like, instead of you sunk my battleship, it's like, you sunk my friend. And he's
right. Oh no, B3.
yeah, B3. Sorry, bro.
No, yeah, for sure. And I think like I feel like that's like especially like kind of you said, I sometimes do a terrible job like at noticing those things, like the subliminal messages around stuff. I think when you have items like childhood games people can recognize a long way, it's kind of like it makes it a little bit easier, right? It makes it a little bit like kind of like simple, like easier, which as a viewer I appreciate.
Absolutely. And I mean, it pisses me off how Spade, the main villain, like bullies this kid mercilessly, grows up, still has beef. He's still like, dude, wakes up and he's just like, yeah, fuck bitch ass. This kid, he's like 36 years old. He's like, can you move on, please? Sends his boys
people don't forget.
Right. yeah. And then still like has the nerve to send his boys in,
right?
And, like, do his dirty work, and they all get slaughtered, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like it was nothing.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you gotta like handle your business yourself, man, because this is obviously some deep rooted stuff.
Right. No, exactly. Like it I think like the fact that like, you know, like you said, it comes from like the perception of being a passionate kid and like, you know, getting bullied and, you know, coming from like a certain background that he came from, like it makes you feel more like, you know, hey, I really like you know, Marsha, I really like, you know, thankfully like those pair and like Cecil and like people like that coming in to help. But like it also like the people who were on the darker side of this film, I think, like who were like, you know, like Spade and I'm blanking on one of the characters, but I think like you that to me, that part of like them, you know, being so like to me that seemed if I did have one part that I wanted to like say could have been better, that part kind of seemed a little not cheesy, but like that part of like the darker side of like those characters is where I felt like the writing was a little chunky and like a little bit like cliche. And like I said, like just more on like the darker side of the characters on that aspect. Like I really do think like Cecil Melissa did it. Well, Melissa Sellers is the actress for Marisha, but like it.
Mhm.
I think they did it like for some reason, like it seemed as though it was very much like the lighter side was the writing was a lot better. Like it was like for such a like hard film like this like dark film like that was a little
Yeah.
better. Like the dark side of the film with those characters seemed a little chunky. That's just
Yeah.
my one.
Well, and it's different because like really the real dark side is Melissa or
Yeah,
Spade, whatever. Like they caused this villain, so it's like
right.
a whole kickflip. I have a question for you. If you were bitch ass, what kind of traps would you or like pick one game and set up
Oh,
your trap, and then also what would your name be? Not bitch ass, but like
oh my
dipshit.
gosh. Okay.
Like, you know.
Mine. So it's kind of funny. So mine. The game I would have to pick. Damn, I was not ready for that question, JD. That's a good question. I'm gonna go with. This is gonna sound weird, but like I guess because of the nature of the film, the game Clue, even though you know who the
Sure.
killer is, because like the whole fact of like different rooms with different
Surprise, it's
weapons,
me.
right? Hello, and just because of my nature and me, my villain it would be dumbass because no, it's not 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna mess it up. They're gonna be like, "Hey Joe, yeah, you put the candlestick in the library, right?"
Right.
Damn it, no. And the
Oh,
meanwhile, the person's just in there like, so what's going on? Like, like it's just one of
yeah.
those things where it's like, I would be dumbass because I would just mess up. Like people would probably get away, and I didn't think it all the way through.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm surprised they didn't use Twister, man, because that would
That
have
would
been
be
a
crazy. Now you're
gruesome.
getting now you're mixing in like Saw or some shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think my game would be Don't Wake Daddy. You remember that?
Oh
Like,
man!
I'd just be like, and then
And
like
if you
they
wake
have
up,
to
all
sneak
right,
through.
snap.
All right, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, you woke me up, and now I'm pissed. What would your
yeah,
villain be?
man. I haven't even thought about it. I was thinking like dipshit or like
Not bad.
like buffoon. You know what I mean? Like,
That
so
works so
dude,
well with Don't Wake Daddy.
I was just to wake buffoon.
You
There's like
buffoon.
something about dated insults that have been killing me lately, bro. Like my friend, he was like, he called him a knucklehead the other day, and I was like,
Oh,
that
that's a
cooked me a
classic.
lot for some reason because it's just
That's a classic. I am a knucklehead, and like it's such. It's funny you say that. Like I think those kind of like disses are so much more like
effective.
impactful, right? Just like you're
Oh
just like,
yeah,
oh man, I I was acting like a knucklehead, or like a like
it's
something like that, where you're just like, man, like also like who the hell is he to call me a knucklehead?
right. It's like, where do you get off, bro? It's like I'm gonna think about this for the next 3 weeks.
Right, seriously, I'm gonna come back with the crazy diss from that.
Right.
But overall though, if I had to give it a rating, just because I think the act like there was such like I really thought Q was my favorite character. So
Sure.
I thought like there was a lot of good acting there. Like I said, there were some chunky parts and cliches that I was like, eh. Overall, I'm gonna give this like a B plus.
Okay.
Maybe around there. I think it has the potential to be an A, or like there was a lot of things that could have, but my rating is a B plus.
I think, like you said, like if the writing could have been a little more, cleaned
Which I
up.
know, yeah, like I know not everyone has like insight to that. Like the writers make it up,
It
but
seemed like
like
it got rushed towards,
yeah,
the end. But and well, I will say the cinematography was very experimentally creative, which
yep,
like I get, you know what I'm saying? Like I see what they're going for. I think if they had more time, I think it could have been a lot more
yeah,
like more of a spectacle.
yeah,
And they had some transitions that were like very experimental, which I respect. It's just
yeah,
I don't know if it fit the vibe because it kind of took it to more of a humorous light.
yeah,
Like parts where it's like a card of the villain and a card of like Q, and it'd be like
right.
verses, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like okay, now it's a little cartoony, but I respect the
You gotta
vision.
try,
I fought with the
right?
vision, but like it's just it didn't seem to fit the vibe of this movie for me.
What would you
But
what would you what would you grade it?
C minus, I think, bro.
Okay, and that's respect. I'm gonna respect that because as someone who's this is kind of like your I want to say B-list Rotten Tomatoes. We have someone who would be a critic like yourself, who's an actor
I critique
in
myself.
the zone,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
In the zone, I'm the audience vote, and 9 times out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience vote's always higher than the critics vote, unless it's something like Avatar or some shit. But like, I think you've got to be a fan of, like you said, you've got to like. some parts, some people don't mess with the gory part of stuff. Sometimes you're
Yeah.
just like, man, this is intense. But for some reason, also, like, me and Lindsay went on like a stream of like horror movies, like all leading up to Halloween. And like, have you ever seen Hellraiser? The
Oh
new
no,
one?
it's one of the ones I haven't seen yet.
You want to talk about gory? I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
man, like ripping people apart, melting, like
it's like
just the
hooks,
whole.
right?
Yeah, just oh my, you want to talk about gory? Like, so like I had seen that, and then I watched Bitchass, so like I was like, all right, there's
You're in
gore.
the gore mood, yeah.
I'm in. It wasn't. I was kind of in that zone, so that's why like maybe that didn't phase me as much. But like there were times where I was like, like I hit that little jump. You're just like, man,
Little skin crawl, yeah.
ready for that. But I mean, overall, everyone, JD and I give our opinions. Go check it out. You
I
can see
think
it on YouTube.
if I had to tag into like the sets they used were really cool. Like they had
Yeah.
like toy pieces hanging down, like chess pieces and like little
Yeah.
things on strings. I'm not that creative. If I made a maze, I'd be like hiding behind a wall, throwing rocks at people.
Mhm.
There
No,
he is.
I
Dipstick.
agree.
Yeah.
Those aspects were nice. But
Yeah.
you can check out Bitchass on Amazon, Apple, Redbox has it now, Google Play, YouTube. It's available. It was only $4, but I think everyone, make your own opinions on it. JD, thank you for helping me review. I think we definitely have fun doing these. Maybe next time we'll do a different kind of film. But
Absolutely.
this was fun for the first time. You never know what kind of movie. I did want to do like a bitch ass movie or like a horror film because we always do comedy, and like you and I both, we love comedy films. Thought this would be the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Let's try something new. But before I let you go, is there anything else you got to say either on the film or anything else about yourself?
I guess the morale of the story is don't be a bully because you might
Don't be a
just walk
bully.
in their
Don't be a
house
bully.
full of traps. Yeah.
If you're a bully, you'll probably end up having to play Battleship, but be in a Battleship game, or you're just gonna end up in a situation that you're gonna get slashed, and
You're
you're
not
gonna have
gonna
to
like
be.
the next floor anymore for sure.
No, let me tell you, you're not gonna play rock paper scissors either. But yeah, no, I think it was a good time. Thanks everyone for checking out our review. We'll see if we do these again in the future, but thanks everyone for checking it out.